Although we had some more music coming in. I was about to start dancing. What's up, Angie?
She was so silly.
We're back.
Yes, hello. I think we are on. Hello, everyone. Listen, I missed everyone. I miss having a show going on. Brother Nance, you on there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, all right. So we are back, everyone. This is our relaunch of the Restoring the Village Radio Show.
Show, shorty.
I'm really excited to be back, and I'm sure Brother Nance is too. I'm so thankful that he's continuing to be on here. We are partners. That's my brother. He's eating, and it's okay. So what we're going to do is, you know how Mondays are like manic, like a really crazy Monday. We just want it to be where we can kind of relax. We can talk about any and everything, and I hope that you all tune in.
Mellow Mondays. We're going to make it mellow.
Oh, I like that. Mellow Mondays.
No more manic Mondays. Mellow Mondays. You know what I'm saying? Like everything we do is from a power source, not a deficit source around here at Restoring the Village Radio. You already know.
I like that. Mellow Mondays. Listen, I've been doing this self-care Saturday. Now it's going to be a Mellow Monday.
Mellow Mondays with Brother Nance and Angie.
So this is actually like again, reintroducing ourselves, letting you know what you can expect. We're going to be having guests on to come on the show every week. It's going to be every Monday at 7. It seems to work. It seems to be going to work for the both of us. And we're looking to talk about everything from politics to school, education, health, building your credit. I mean, any and everything that we want to talk about. It's going to be here, this platform. We want to also shout out Radio on Fire for this broadcasting. It's really exciting to kind of be reunited, a little virtual, but we're reunited and it feels so good.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Listen, I have my shirt. Pink is my power color. So as you all know, this is the first day of March, and March is what?
Women's History Month. You know, I love the women. Love the women. We love y'all. Without y'all, wouldn't be no us. Salute to all the women. Salute to all the women. I just gave Pam Curtis a shout out today. I'm doing 31 days where I'm giving just shout outs to women that has impacted my life. Not just members in my family. Of course, I'm gonna shout out my grandmother, my mother, my aunts, and things like that. But there's a lot of women in the community, such as yourself, that have impacted me and my journey on what I'm doing. So, it's an honor to be able to honor women during Women's History Month. We should be honoring women daily. But you know what? I was talking to someone today. You can't really honor nobody until you learn how to honor yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think it's a practice that we need to do daily anyway, just honoring our women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feels good to be able to honor 31 women, this month. For Women's History Month. Love y'all. Brother Nance. If nobody tell y'all they love y'all, Brother Nance love y'all.
So perhaps next week we can, spotlight a few women that are doing some great things in the community. As Brother Nance said, there are a lot of women out here doing the work. We even just said, just because we started in March doesn't mean that we can't even, a spotlight or talk about Black history. We want to say this 365 days of Black history.
We are Black history.
So we're going to be doing that. You can see a spotlight of that as well going on. And again, just things that are going on throughout Baltimore, everything. So today we know that also some students have gone back into the classrooms, and we want to just hear from parents and see how, things are going. Brother Nance, I believe, work in the school system. I know that I'm an advocate on some boards, and I also, am a parent of a child that's in the schools. My child did not start back going into schools, but I definitely, support anyone who may need that one-on-one, or that, I don't want to say one-on-one because they're not getting that per se, but that interaction in the schools. So I would love to hear how everyone feels about, their students going back And how do you feel about your first day?
My school actually went back today, not the whole school, but we had about maybe 20 kids today. You know what I mean? And it was
pre-K, second pre-K to, not pre-K.
It was the whole. My school is pre-K to 8th grade, so we had different age grades, and then we had the pre-K in one section, we had the middle school in one section, elementary, we had what I mean. But it was all open space, social distancing. It was still a virtual learning environment. It was just the fact that they were in the school building, the fact that it kind of forced some of them to be more astute or engaged with their work. Not saying that they wasn't prior to that, but obviously their parents wanted them to get out the house for a reason. It was for them to do better or to have access to people that can help them. Because we was helping them today, but we wasn't helping them do their work. We were really helping them log in and stuff like that. So what it really made me see was the challenge that most people was having with the virtual learning spaces. Most people was probably just having trouble even logging in. You know what I mean? And I don't think it was due to neglect, but then also, like I was sharing with you earlier before we went on air, it was some students that was asleep. You know what I mean? So it just told me that it's a lot that we're going to have to do before we can get a sense of normalcy back into the rotation of kids even coming back in the building. Forget the COVID piece. It's just the whole piece of getting them back to taking instruction and preparing themselves and, things of that nature. That's really the real challenge or the thing that I noticed today. It went well for our first day. I can't complain. Some kids that were not been able to been engaged were engaged today. So that was the win. But I do know the concerns that people had. But to me, it's not more or less about COVID. It's more about really getting our children and back into a routine of learning, even if they're still learning at home. You gotta ask yourself, what is the environment in which you're creating for them to work in? Are they working in their bedroom? Are they working at the kitchen table? Are they working at a desk? Now I know desks were sold out all over the United States. We couldn't even find I was trying to find desks. I couldn't even find no desks. But simple things like when my son lives with me, I tell him, to go downstairs and do it on the table. The first couple of days, I let him do it on his own because my son's in high school. So, but he was on the game and had his laptop up and the phone, but he was actually engaged in his class. So it was like, all right. I was like, yo, imagine you didn't have those distractions. You can be more engaged. You know what I mean? So it's like we got to pick and choose our battles. But for the younger children, it seemed more of a struggle adjusting back because they were just so used to chilling. I like the older kids really kind of wanted to they want to come back. They want to socialize with their friends, but the younger kids, they're like, man, I ain't gotta go to school, Cool.
Well, mine is in kindergarten, and it was, for me, it was a little different because her teacher, of course, is doing both, right? Okay. So she has students in the classroom, and she had, her screen up. Well, the screen is up, period. Her computer is up, period, for both. But she has some students. I believe it may have been about 7 students in the classroom, and the remaining 23 or so students were on virtual. Okay. And so the majority remained in the online. And it was a little difficult because in the beginning, they were all trying to make sure they get logged in, and also the network in the school buildings. That was the difficult part because they needed that extra time to do that. And then she listened. The teachers did an extraordinary job because you can see how she was trying to make sure that those that were inside the class as well as online were still kind of getting that same attention. But we did see a difference because during the time she needed to help with getting them logged in, she just gave more assignments for those online as she stepped away, So hopefully, they get the kinks out, and then tomorrow or going forward will be better. But the majority are remaining online as far as what I've seen, not just with my daughter's school, but other schools. And, there are some that may have had some disappointments because they thought that they would kind of interact, but it's definitely still on the computer.
Yeah, it's still on the computer. It's not like they're coming back. Because you know why? It's because, honestly, to be honest with you, the teachers don't want to come back. You dig what I'm saying? Like they don't want to risk bringing something back home to their families. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then for people such as yourself that have younger children, it ain't about you not trusting the school. It's about you trusting your kid keeping that mask on. You know what I mean? While they in school. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, the entire time, like I had to drop off some work at my job, and I took my daughter, of course. I mean, either way, I would either have to drop her off somewhere or we're just in and out. And the whole entire time, my anxiety is like, put your mask on to keep it up, you know, and I said, listen, if you can't even do this with me, I know for a fact. And she's 6. So for me, she's too young. But that's just my take, you know, to even understand that she has to keep her mask on the entire time, right?
Go out the hook too.
Yeah. So I'm just, again, I'm okay with anyone who may need it, but I think a lot of parents are finding out that is basically the same thing you were doing at home, because that teacher still has to kind of keep her attention on everyone. Uh-huh. And like I said, most of them are staying online. So, but hopefully, you know, as the time goes on, they will continue to transition and get more in there and whatever the needs are.
Well, again, like I said earlier in the call, earlier in the show, like, again, like this virtual learning, this is here to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't going nowhere. Like, it's not going nowhere next year. This is around for a couple years. This ain't, you know what I mean? Because you got to realize how many people they still trying to convince people to take the vaccine. You know what I mean? So until
we need to talk about that too.
Huh?
We need to talk about that too.
I'm personally not taking the vaccine. Personally,
yeah, I was gonna say. But that's that's just me. But I would love to hear, you know, different perspectives. Maybe we can have like a little, I don't want to say round table, but something.
I've several people that I respect have gotten the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? And so I understand why they got it as leaders or matriarchs in our particular community. You know, they were just trying to set the tone for everyone else. But they also led with saying, you know, for my conspiracy thirst. For me, it's not even about being a conspiracy thirst. I just don't trust the United States of America with my health, my life, or anything. You understand what I'm saying? To be quite honest with you. You know what I mean? Better yet, trust you with my money, my health. You know, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, and so if they were a little bit more transparent from the beginning, then maybe I think people would be a little bit more like, oh, all right. But how they did the whole situation is like, nah, I don't even want to be a part of that. Like, I'll be the person that get the vaccine and die. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm not with none of that.
I think transparency is the biggest key. And for us, well, for me, you know, this is how Angie feels only personally. I just feel like if they would been transparent from the beginning, as you just stated, maybe, but now it's like you can tell how things are so politically driven, and it's sometimes I've even seen where it's just about money, you know, and so, you know, the higher the numbers, the more money they get or whatever. You could see, because we have, like, I have videos I've watched where you can see the governor, he's like, hey, we're in the red, and, you know, numbers are climbing and hospitals at the capacity, and all of a sudden a week or two later, you know, now things are better. Come on, go back into school, get yourself together. And you just can't do that. You know, you can't put fear mongers and you put fear into somebody's heart. And then now you're just like, go ahead back, you know. It's a question that came up there. Are you going to take the COVID-19 vaccine? Please tune in and answer. You know, let us know how you feel.
Like I said, I've had people that I respect that have taken it, and, you know, they haven't been, I mean, they said, like, one person told me, you definitely want to stay hydrated, drink plenty of water. They're like, yo, you got to drink plenty of water. And it was like, he had like a little tingling sensation in his arm the next day for a couple of days. And he did round 2. He did both rounds, you know. Okay. I mean?
Yeah, I've been hearing that second round kind of, you know.
My thing is, why I got to get 2 rounds? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not with none of that. None of that. You got to hit me up twice. And you don't even know? No, I'm not with that. Like, you experiment on a whole bunch of other people. You're already experimenting on black people enough. I'm not one of the guinea pigs, period.
Yeah. And we know how they experiment.
But Angie, they got people so afraid and threatening people with their jobs, talking about you can't come at work if you don't. That's illegal. Like you should. They can't make you do something this is your body. You know what I mean? Like they can't make you take something like, you know what I mean? Like if my job ever told me, Brother Nance, you got to take this to work, I would be like, you know what? Peace and power. I love y'all. I'm gonna just be, you know what I mean? I will donate and volunteer to school. You're gonna stop me from volunteering, but if I gotta pay and I gotta, you know what I mean? I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm just not doing it. You know what I mean? Like for one, I mean, I have a right to refuse. You know what I mean? And for us indigenous brothers, I don't have my full indigenous citizenship yet, but I'm working on it. But my bros, we don't even have to take it because we're indigenous, part of an indigenous government. You know what I mean? So there's a variety of ways that people want to go around it. They could, but let's just be lucky that we're not being forced to do it. So I salute everybody that is taking it, you know what I mean, and taking one for the team. I salute them because some people do want to get things back to normal. I mean, I do. You know, it felt good to see children in the school building today. It felt good to interact with parents again. You know what I mean? It felt good. You know what I mean? Like, so I would love to, you know, get back to some sense of somewhat normalcy. But again, like I was telling students today, normalcy will never look the same. We have to redefine what the new normalcy looks like. You know what I mean? Because it's not normal. Again, like concerts will never be the same. Movies will never be the same. None of that stuff will never be the same. You know what I mean? Like this is the first virus germ warfare that we in. This is just the beginning. You know? Just the beginning. Like the China man don't like us. You know what I mean? Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Do you know, and I'm sure people probably not feeling me sometimes, but you know, I don't even get the flu vaccination. You know, like
I don't get nothing.
Yeah, I don't. Again, not to knock anyone else. I've even been doing, you know, my vitamins, I've been doing the apple cider vinegar. I mean, I know there's something different, but I'm just saying, I just put certain things that I'm drinking, certain herbal teas, whatever it may be. You have to understand that. I remember my great grandmother. I mean, she lived till she was 94. I never seen her take any of that mess. You know, I'm sorry. Any of that, right? But like if she had a fever, she was like chopping up onions. If she had this,
put it in her socks.
Yes.
The human body is designed to thrive and fight things off. The thing about it is they know that our bodies are not in optimum state. So that's why these type of viruses are taking people out. But if our health was in order and our immune system was strong, we wouldn't eat all that crap that we eating. You know what I mean? Just overdoing things that we do, then this would be nothing. You know what I mean? That's why, like, if COVID came in my body, COVID would be in some serious trouble. Like the COVID would come in and be like, yo, we done went to the wrong body. Like this nigga is prepared.
The wrong body.
We're prepared. Like I haven't been sick in probably like 15, 20 years. Yeah, I ain't been sick in so long. I don't even know.
Look, knocking on wood. I don't know no wood there right now. I haven't really been, you know, like I'm not saying, like for me, I'll probably get some sinus, but even my sinus haven't been so bad because I'm not going out like that. Right. But you know, my sinus will probably be the worst case scenario that I'm getting with sinus. But other than that, it's like even my daughter, like when she was in school last school year, I mean, she was always sick, you know, or stomach ache, or like I said, getting a cold, and she hasn't been. And again, she's taking vitamins, and this is like our everyday daily thing. You know, we just make sure that she's getting certain things in her system. And I'm not saying that's just it. And that's all. I'm just letting people know what's working for me. And that's the way I have to go. But I'm not going to put anything that's experimental.
I just tell people stay hydrated, eat your fruits and vegetables. You know what I mean? Like just do the godly thing by just being cleanliness. You know what I mean? Like,
do you all know that this month is National Nutrition Month? Maybe Brother Nance would talk about that next week or so. But we need to talk about, you know, making sure, like you're saying, getting our immune system up. What can we either take away from or add to our system to make sure that we're healthy?
And we need to be physically active. You know what I mean? That's what I'm working on. I'm not as physically active as I would like to be. but consistency is the key. It's about making time for things that's going to help you thrive. You know what I mean? That's what I'm realizing. Like, we prioritize so many other things, especially during COVID. I think COVID has really made people really look at things and prioritize their life and look at things from a different perspective. You know what I mean? Even the type of human interaction that you were previously having and what you may have lacked, when it happened, or, it just made you look at your whole landscape of your life and your current thing. Were you running on a treadmill or a hamster wheel, or were you running on like unlimited terrain on the beach that was endless? Like, what were you running on? You know what I mean? Were you in the hamster wheel or were you on the beach? You know what I mean? A lot of people realize, they was on a hamster wheel and they need to get off the hamster wheel. You know what I mean? Like, and so for me, I kind of went on a tangent, but I thought that was just important when we was talking about health. Like, you know what I mean?
It is very important.
Being physically, no matter what it is, whether it's walking up and down your own steps, what I mean? 20 minutes of jumping jacks and a couple sit-ups. I mean, it's little things. I'm not telling you to go to the gym and become a hulkamaniac. I'm saying just do something to just keep your body active, especially for us people that are pushing over 40. You know what I mean? Like, we should be more active than anybody. I feel more younger now than I did when I was in my 20s. And I'll be 45 this year. Willing, you know what I mean?
Now, I also know not only is physical activities are helpful for your body, but we also have to, like I just mentioned, I've really been taking my little self-care Saturdays to a higher height, and just making sure our mental is all right. And I would say, out of all of this, I'm so thankful to be back here. I'm so thankful to, bring certain things to our different platforms, and to get it out to the masses. This is just the beginning, guys. But I will tell you that I really appreciate the slowing down process. Yeah. I really appreciate that self-care, that taking that time. I mean, we can be running, and you can do everything that you want. But if you don't take that time to settle down and to take care of yourself, resting and just making sure that you're doing things for your mental, you can break down. I don't care how fit you are or what are you doing, but if you are like overdoing your body, it's going to show you. Your body's going to talk to you, and if you're not addressing certain things, it's going to come back to you, right? So we just, like I said, for me, everybody know prior to, COVID, I was running for city council. We know that COVID came out of nowhere. And we also know that things changed, and it changed in the blink of an eye. And we had to learn how to kind of adjust to certain things.
What's up, Tasha?
Huh?
I said, Tasha said, what's up?
Hey, Tasha. Hey. But for me, and I'm going to end this, but for me, I think it was like, for me in the beginning, so again, I'm happy to be here, but having that time to actually take and be there for my family.
Yes.
Taking that time for Angie. And I don't think I'm going to go back to running and not, going back to that family. I mean, we're cooking, doing things together, my child getting ready to graduate, like all this time. If I was running or still campaigning, I'm just letting you know that was my focus. And now I've readjusted and refocused my purpose. And not to say that I can't go, that's not going to happen again. But it shows me balance. And so I appreciate that slowing down, that balance. I appreciate the quote unquote, that pandemic in a sense. And I don't know if I want to go back to how things were crazy, crazy busy.
I'm not.
Yeah. So I say I'm not going back, but we are readjusting. It probably was the best thing that's happened personally for me. But again, opening my eyes, having different projects to be done. There's some things that I want to announce, but until that time come, we're going to be.
Whoa, what you mean? What you mean? There's some things you want to announce.
There's some things I want to announce, like in general projects.
I thought you were talking about something I'm about to say, like
Brother Nance says, that I have that look like something else, relationship wise. But I'm saying projects. There are some things that I've been working on.
Hey, Tasha said she got that relationship blood.
So anyway, don't do it. So pink is my power color. Look, I'll change the subject on you. But yes, we want to make sure that we acknowledge. I also want to say, when I was looking at Women's History Month, we know that that's this month, right? But it's also Social Work Month.
Shout out to all my social workers.
Yes. Shout out to all the social workers.
All my social workers. I had a couple of social worker girlfriends.
Mm-hmm. Look. I don't know how that person went.
No, I attract people that's in the service world. You know what I mean? Healers is like, you know what I mean? Pandemic created love all around. You're right, Tosh. Pandemic did create a lot of love. Not for me though.
Yes, it did.
No, it did. No, it definitely did. No, you know what?
It did. I don't know what happened, but it did.
No, the pandemic actually was. It was awesome for real because I created a lot of different opportunities for myself. You know what I mean? Like then, you know, and it gave me time to reflect just on, you know, past relationships and just relationship with myself, you know what I mean, and how I can be better. Because, you know, a lot of times when we running, you know, our running interferes with our connecting with others. You know what I mean? And so what I had to realize during this pandemic, I'm running towards my goals, but my goals are so important to me that I cannot even cheat nobody out of even getting to learn me or me learn them, because I'll be cheating them because of where my mind is at. Like I'm learning my business path and my purpose path right now.
Yes.
So I can't, if you're not a compliment or you can't add to me, is like, you know what I mean? I'm sitting here in love and in bliss and relationship business to me. Hey, Tosh, I know, Tosh, you got that love glow. I'm glad you and your honey got back together.
He putting all your business out there.
I'm just saying, you know.
Tasha, yes.
You know what I mean? Tasha Mack, let's talk.
And listen, Tasha, sometimes things need to happen for it to come right back together and pull it together. Absolutely. So that's why I said I don't look at it as being this bad thing. And yes, we probably won't get back to a norm, but was that norm? Was that norm for us? You know? So we need to get back to balance.
I love the pandemic. I thought the pandemic was the best shit ever happened to Black people.
It was. Like I said, for me, it really gave me time.
Black people, because we watched the whole world in front of us implode. You know what I mean? Like
it paused.
Stop, imploded, and you know, Black people started hustling more. We started getting more money. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest with you, I mean, I've seen so many people start businesses. I know people that had businesses prior to COVID that was doing okay, but when COVID hit, straight through the roof. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like survival.
Yeah, and then, you know, especially with the whole watching the way the things that was going on in government, the things that was going on, the people attacking the Capitol, and all the stuff that we was enduring over the whole year. You know, the different depths of some of the people that are doing pioneer work or athletes and entertainers and things like that. Like, we have a lot of people passing. There's a lot going on. So for us, to me, like I said, taking this break, only thing that I think the only bad thing was I felt like our children or the school system, because I can't even just blame families, because it ain't really that no one was prepared. And to me, it exposed the real holes that our education system, as far as the digital divide, food insecurity, all of that. Like it
exposed it.
I mean, put it on Front Street, where though people had no choice but to try to address it. But the challenge is, I think that we need to have more of a solution-oriented approach, because we do have enough people that are educated and educators, and you know what I mean, like super educated and know systems and know how to do design thinking and all of that, where though we could create our own education system to present to the school board, like, hey, this is how I think. This is what we think how learning should go. I mean, I think a hybrid model moving forward. You know what I mean? Where the school building should really be for socializing and for those that need extra assistance. Those that thrive on their own at home, let them thrive at home and let them get ahead. Because there's other races that their children are getting ahead being at home. You got some people that are skipping 2-3 grades because they working at home. You know what I mean? Like they taking 2-3 tests just to get out the 6th grade to go in the 8th grade. It's a little in Atlanta that was like in I think 8th grade that he had such a high SAT score that they let the boy start college while he was in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's all about, you know, what you
make out of it. Yeah.
Because the virtual world is where it's at. Like, there's no gonna be no more in-person meetings. Like Zoom is gonna be Google Hangouts and all that. Like that's the new norm. You know what I mean? Like, and so like I tell my son, like I tell young people, and I just tell people in general, like you better adjust and see what's going on. Even same down with our currency.
And our seniors. I tell them, like, let us show you how to work this because that is the way.
I feel bad for the seniors because, you know, I'm reading something up. I think maybe you talked about this, Angie, where they was talking about it's more seniors not dying from COVID, but dying from loneliness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like people are dying from just straight being lonely. You know
well, one thing I want to say, I agree with that because I have a lot of our seniors that reach out to us, not necessarily feeling as though they have passed from that. Like no one has that I know of personally. But I do know when they talk to me that they address how they appreciate us showing up, how they appreciate a simple call. So what we've done, my team and I, we have every Monday and now starting on Wednesdays, we are making sure that our seniors are getting food. We are making sure that they're seeing people that just want to love on them and care for them and just talk to them and see, you know, is it something that you need? And sometimes, you know, it's just the simple things for me. You know, we can assume that their family members are doing it, but as I talk, I mean, some do have family members that do that, but we do have some that just like, thank you for calling. You know, thank you for letting me know. Thank you for dropping off produce boxes. Shout out to Zach Dingle and shout out to Ann Sinasaka. Shout out to Miss T. There are some great people in the community doing great things. We've partnered up with different organizations. And again, shout out to Andrea Jones, Valerie Matthews. I mean, I can go on and on. Thank you to Jamoke. There are partners. Squeaky, thank you so much for all of the people that are just coming together. And as you know, as you said, Brother Nance, we are learning not only just how to survive, but we are progressing because we're working together even more than ever.
Said this pandemic is really affecting our elderly. I give extra attention to my older clients who have been feeling isolated. You know, Tasha worked for a place where she housed people. So, but I mean,
and thank you, Tasha, for all that you're doing because, like I always say that, you know, well, we already know the motto: it takes a village, right? But we understand that there are certain people like to know, you know, the work that Tasha's doing. If someone needed that, we can link them up. Like I said, with Zach Dingle, he's in the social work world. He works in at Jamoke. And so when someone is in need, I call on him. So it's all about who we can connect others to, you know, at some instance, but also, again, just a simple hello, how are you doing today? I'm telling you, that goes a long way. And it doesn't mean you got to be a social worker to do that. Just have a care in your heart to check on someone. I mean, I got to the point where they're calling me like, Angie, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, and let me just say this really quickly. There are, and since we're talking about seniors, we can just say seniors, but definitely other family members. But there are seniors out there that once they pay their bills, like they don't even have money to get food. So I don't put like so much as far as pictures out there. If we do pictures, it's like just a truckload of food, but not necessarily the families because they're very powerful, you know. But in the same token, to know that they can call on us and they don't feel any way because they know that they're going to get their needs met, and or will be connected to someone that can help them. That speaks volume, and it goes a long way when someone calls and just say, I'm hungry, and to know you've built a relationship. And so we've delivered to houses. We don't have to have a picture. We'll call, say, hey, you know, the food is on your porch, you know, or this is the time that's going to be delivered. And a lot of behind the scenes, you know,
And
So
you know, I've been feeding people at the beginning of the pandemic. The only reason why I had to post a few pictures because my job made me. You feel me?
Oh yeah. And I'm not totally against like.
I'm not against picture taking. You know what
I mean? People get on my nerves when they do that. They're like,
no. I might take it the wrong way. That's just my personal constitution. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I got trained under B. Gaddy. This before you had camera phones and all that.
Yeah,
Like, so I understand the science behind the work. So I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with those that take pictures. No, do what you got to do to make you feel good. Just for me, it makes me feel better that I didn't do it for me. You know, do I take photo ops at times? Of course. You know what I mean? To document history. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day,
history. Say it again.
You document history. You know what I mean? You know, you're documenting the history of your legacy of what you did. So I don't want nobody to take it the wrong way, like we saying, like, no, don't take pictures. I'm just saying, just be, understand the common culture, the people you're dealing with. You know what I mean? And you'll know, you'll know what to do if you're really doing it from a sincere place. You know who to take pictures of and who not to. I mean, everybody I know that do take pictures, they have that same discernment where they know how to read the people in the community and they're so I can support them doing that. You know what I mean? Those people that are photo opportunists, those are the people that I don't respect. You know what I mean? Like, I see you do nothing else, but I see you with a photo. Like, nah. I'm not on that. You know what I mean?
Look, they would say, what are you doing, Angie? You running for something? You doing this? I'm like, no. Like, the same way before I even got into politics, I was out there. Right. And I have pictures from 10 years ago or more. Because one, I know the importance of getting, putting your information out there, or also just leaving that legacy. And you never know. Sometimes it encourages people. Sometimes it encourages the bad people. Sometimes it encourages good people. But in the same token, it makes people want to do more, right?
It does.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, I always looked at it as though we hear and see all the negative that's going on. So I always said I wanted to highlight the good. It's not until I began to run for office that people wanted to attack. No, she's just doing it because of photo op. No, if you know my history, you go back 10, 15 years and know that Angie's always done it. And in fact, even after the election, I never stopped moving. I never stopped working. And that's the importance of it, because it's not like I can sit there and chill and be like, I don't have to do this now. But no, I want to make sure that I'm still doing it for
let me ask you a question.
And I have no wine, guys. So I hope you all are here.
So let me ask you a question, right?
Yes.
So why do you think it's important? You being a woman, and a Black woman in particular, why do you think why do you believe Women's History Month is important for us to, just like Black History Month is Black History Month, we agree that Black History is 365. So that's something that should be taught daily.
Yes, that's what we're going to be talking about every month.
So I'm curious about, why do you think that it's important as a woman for Women's History Month to be celebrated on such a large scale? I'm just curious because I have my own ideas as well.
Okay, for me, first of all, that's a great question. And
thank you. My question. You know what I mean? It was always a good question. Always a good question.
Oh my goodness, he's still so cocky. It's like, let me stop.
Appreciate that. The manager will be proud of me right now.
But Tasha, if you're still on here, he still think he has the greatest questions. So for me, I know just the history of women. Women have always been a big factor to a lot of things that have happened. I mean, even with we can look at these different, political, or those that have done things and that has done things in the community, or anything like big factors such as Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. But to look behind the women that was behind them, their wives, they played a big factor of why things are the way they are. Right. I mean, we looked at the Judas and the Messiah. Oh my gosh, like that was a great, like we need to talk about that too. But anyway, his woman stood behind him. And sometimes, for me to know all of the factors and the things that the woman has done, and sometimes gets overlooked. Also running, there's not even city council, there's not a lot of women involved. Look at our Congress, there's not a lot of women at the table. And so for me, I think it's even more important to highlight the things that women are doing, because we've always been there. We kind of and I'm gonna say, just on the concept of me running for office, there were things that were said to me as a woman and as a Black woman that would never been said to a man. And so, and then it was also more of saying, yes, driving force, honey, yes. But that, look, pink is my power color. But for me,
that's that pink Moscato. That's that pink Moscato.
Even more. It pushes me even more to break those barriers, because that's what it is. There are barriers that try to keep women behind. I mean, look, it wasn't that far along where women couldn't even have a bank account. We couldn't vote. We couldn't do, certain things. We couldn't speak out. When I was running for office, it was more like, hey, you're intimidating. Why? You're an angry Black woman. No, I'm not. I'm doing the same thing that this man has done, but because it was a man, it was okay. Right. So to answer your question, I won't go all on to it. But to answer your question, I think it's important because, as Tasha just said in the message, I believe that the woman is a driving force, is the backbone. The women, like for me, for me running, it probably was hard. First of all, it was hard because I put so much into it, right? But when my child's school closes and now I have to be full-time mommy and teacher and cafeteria lady and whatever else you got to be for these children, right? We always make a sacrifice for our family. We always make a sacrifice for our children, for our men. I always make sure I uplift our men. And so I just want to see and make sure that our women are being uplifted. So I'm honored to make sure that we're honoring other women. But I think it's important because, if we look at history, and history doesn't lie, the women have always been the backbone.
The women birthed the whole nation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, I can speak from experience. Most of my closest friends are women. You know what I mean? Like some of my dearest friends that like.
I know your dear friend.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? Like, when I put women in systems, for real though. On the
crazy, but I love you.
What I'm saying. No, serious, on a serious note. When I put women in the sister category, I mean that. Like, it's non-sexual. You know what I mean? Like, it's really on some like positive energy. I have sister friends that I've been friends with 20 years. You know what I mean? 20 plus years. You know what I mean? And I have a business partner right now who's a Black woman, and I noticed a difference in how my business is thriving and how my business organization is. And like, man, how we got a running joke that how people treat her differently, like contractors and stuff treat her differently than they treat me. You know what I mean? It's a running joke because I don't be doing nothing wrong. It's just feminine energy. And then, one thing I could say, I agree with women have contributed a lot. I know women have contributed a lot in my life. You know what I mean? Like my dad died when I was 10, so I've had good men around me, but the women were the ones that steered me. The women were the ones that built me up and guided me and gave me my understanding. The men, it was more example. The women, it was nurturing, but it was example as well. So that's why I think it's important to uplift women. I think we don't uplift women enough, especially in today's society. Women are getting treated and looked upon as objects. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's one thing that has to change, because one thing I tell my son is like, it ain't about quantity, it's about quality. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I just want to salute.
Hey, Tasha, you still in there? This pandemic has gotten him really deep. So let me stop.
Very enlightened, very enlightened. Yes. Same way, forever. I'm just honestly, Angie, I'm just catching up with my thoughts. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel.
Thoughts, you know what I mean? Like I finally caught up what I really believe in my core of who I be. You know what I mean? I'm non-apologetic about it, and I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? And so I want to honor and uplift women. Like I said, I'm going to be uplifting women for 31 days. You're one of the women that I'm uplifting. I don't know what day of the week it is, but it's going to be
a good day.
It's going to be Monday 30. You know what?
Make sure it's Saturday. So let me stop.
You know what? I was telling my mom, I was like,
Tasha said she's loving the new one. Oh Lord.
You get a manager, shorty, she gets you together. You know what I mean? You get a little manager, you know what I mean? You get a little, get a little more professional.
He needed this pandemic, so let me stop.
No, I mean, like I said, I think it's great that we honor women. I think that we don't honor them enough, even in our homes as being mothers. And I'm not saying that men don't need to be uplifted as well, but I think that it needs to be, I look at it as giving people their flowers while they're here. You know what I mean? And some women that's going to be on my list are people that just inspire me for what they do, and I don't even know them personally. You know what I mean? I'm just inspired by your movement or your wave or your
and energy. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not trying to holler at you. I'm not trying to go and get none of that. You know what I mean? It's really like, yo, I want to honor what you're doing, sister, power up. You know what I mean? Like, so I just want to salute all the women out here, black, white, cream, green. It don't matter. Like, long as you're a power person, you know what I mean? And you're power within yourself. You know what I mean? That's what it's really about. You know what I mean? So, as is love to all the ladies out there, man. Love yourself in the mirror. Look yourself in the mirror. Love yourself for who you are, who you be, and where you going at, and where you going to be. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how I feel. I feel like the more you move, you never know who you're inspiring. You never know who, look, when like you said before the show started, people were like hitting your inbox they obviously appreciate what you had to offer when you were on, during the show. And I know you're doing another one, but they still, no matter where you are, they appreciate what you're putting out. And I mean, that's how I see it. And so I continue. Sometimes I haven't done a live. Like I used to just do a whole live. I think I'm all zoomed out, but I'm making this Mellow Monday. I'm making this whole Mellow Monday a reality.
Yeah, Mellow Monday, not Manic Monday.
It is Mellow Monday, guys.
Nothing manic, nothing stressful. Everything in our world is peace, power, love, and health. Like we don't do no stress over here at Restoring the Village Radio. We restoring ourselves, we're restoring the community, we're restoring the vibration. You know what I mean? Because you know what? There's a lot of people, that need to be fed spiritual and mental vitamins. You know what I mean? Because we all spend a lot of time in front of computers, but are we feeding our minds right? Are we feeding our spirit right? You know what I mean? And I'm no judger, whatever, because I like music. So I listen to different types of music and stuff like that. So
yeah, I love music. I love, and we can, go back to having certain artists. Like I just think for me, I probably need to get back in the office, but for me, I have like rearranged my whole life, rearranged rearranged how I was going about things. And again, I wanted something, right? Yet I'll never be to the point where I'm going to compromise myself for anybody or anything. So, but in the same token, how can you be still a vital and a part of society and an asset to your community? I'm never going to lie to anyone just to get a vote or just to get, you to like me, or, we're going to do this and we're going to do it in a positive manner. And I think that's what people know, that we, both of us, have the integrity. If they heard you say something, Brother Nance, I'm sure they're going to listen. I have people that be like, Angie, how do you feel about this XYZ? And to know that people really look at what I'm saying, that makes me go about things more careful. Not to say I'm gonna have the right answer all the time, but I do know that there's a multitude of a community that do rely on some of the things I'm saying. When I was speaking out about the schools, oh my gosh, like my video had almost 10,000 views, and people were mad at me.
10,000 views.
People were so mad at me at North Avenue, but I said, hey, I just tuned, I don't say North Avenue, but just in general, those that were really pushing for, things to happen. But I was still happy to be a voice, to adjust certain things. A lot of things have been adjusted on the strength of advocates such as myself and others, right? And so that's the part that makes me happy. I mean, if it was up to certain things, it would have happened like January, February without taking into consideration how, some parents felt, or how some teachers felt, or students. And so that part, it makes me very appreciative to know that my voice can be heard, and it has been heard. And so that part I appreciate. And so I'm just like, again, going back to this, just the whole RTV show, radio show, we want to make sure that this is not, we don't want to attack anyone, but we do want to talk about the things that people act like they're afraid to talk about, or to bring people on that are advisors, and this is their professional, like aspect of things. We want to make sure that people have that voice, like the vaccination. We're going to talk about all of this. I'm not completely sold on it, but hey, we want to make sure that we have a platform we can talk about that.
We just want to keep people informed. We want to keep people informed.
Keep people informed. I mean, it goes from, like I said, everything from health, politics, education, whatever it may be. We want to just make sure there's a platform where we can talk
freely about politics now that you're not running. I can talk freely now.
We're not going to attack anyone, but we're going to talk freely about things. Yes.
I don't attack nothing. No, you don't do that.
Yeah, just make sure. Look, because you never know, I may run again.
I still got to do business with these people in the city.
Yeah, that's what I said. I never know, I may run again. I do want to say, yes, we just had an election, but we have another one next year. That's your gubernatorial election. So new governor, delegates, senators.
So Hogan has to go. He cannot
run again. He cannot run again for a governor.
So he's trying to be the president. He's probably going for president of the United States.
Yeah. I don't know. But we want to make sure that we have, we talk about civics, the civic education. We want to make sure that we bring on candidates so everyone can get a fair share of getting, their platform and their things out there. And also so people would know, like we get so hyped up about the presidential election, but the gubernatorial is just as important. And also our local elections. So I want to make sure
and I also want us to teach people to remember that we don't work for the government. They work for us. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't work for them. They work for us. And that's the problem. The mindset is we think we work for them. No, they work for us. Like their job is contingent on us. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know why it changes, right? Because we are not unified. We are not engaged. And I believe when I say they, just in general, they bank on us being disorganized, and they bank on us being disengaged. And that's why I think, for me, I'm going to always make sure that this is very important to me. I mean, I remember I've been registering at a certain age and voting since I was 18, never missing a beat, and making sure my daughter understands it important, and others, different students. I mean, let me just say this, not to speak so much about the politics part. So I'm going to tell you, the greatest part in my heart was knowing that there were so many people that voted for the first time in their life. Last year, there were ex-offenders. There was even like people in their 60s that never voted before. Rather, it was to say, hey, we want Trump out. I don't care what it was for. But I'm saying that people just
talk about that.
I'm just saying
that's a whole nother show.
Some of them felt that way, and that's their thing.
I'm gonna just keep it real. Like I wasn't pro-Trump or anti-Trump. I understood who he was and what he was doing. You know what I mean? I understood.
For whatever reason a person voted, I'm saying that's all I heard, and I didn't go in and say, hey, vote against him. I wanted people to know you have a voice, you have a vote. Right. Some people are like, hey, I'm an ex-felon, I don't care, you can vote. And so the educational part, I mean, having people that was on a corner like, Angie, I voted. Right. I didn't ask them who they voted for, but to know the excitement they had in their minds, just to know I voted for the first time, you know.
Yeah, I mean, feeling empowered.
Yeah. So I know we're getting like closer. I don't know what the cue is with our first little show, but but I am really just excited for the future and excited for what's to come and what we're going to be talking about. I'm excited about the future guests that will be on the show. And
me too.
Because listen, go ahead, Dominic. Is that Dominic?
Shout out.
Okay.
Shout out to
Dominic, please chime in. We really miss you, and we know this whole virtual is a little hard, but We're here.
Well, yeah. I miss y'all too, and
Look at his
our
band.
dynamic is really good. I was worried that y'all was gonna be rusty, because we didn't have any we didn't have any practice sessions or anything. But y'all did real good.
I'm always ready for the game, Coach.
I see.
Let me tell you, Don McKay, that's the second time doing that to me. First he said he was worried because the little one. But the little one, she knows that mommy's on the show and don't come in here.
Yeah.
Hey, Diamond K, I like your show too, Diamond K. I've been watching your show too.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I like your show.
With the morning one?
The one he be talking about everything. I mean, Diamond K be going hammer. Like he talks about everything from politics.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But the thing about what I like about your show, Diamond K, is never. I don't never feel like your opinion is emotionally charged. It always comes from a very logical, somewhat
definitely not.
You try to play like the not devil's advocate, but more like look at it from this perspective. But it's gonna be some line. I'm not just speaking out the side of my neck just for you to be like, yeah, he's talking crazy. Like it's like, hold up, damn, yo, I ain't never. You know what? So that's why I say I like your show because. I mean, that's how I think. You know what I mean? Like, so it's good to see a brother speaking from that perspective. So I just wanted to give you your flowers while you was here, brother. That's all.
Definitely appreciate that.
I'm telling you, this is a new one right here.
Man, a piece of humbug. That's to me.
Oh goodness!
We're trying to get the bag. We're trying to get Diamond K to sell these shows. He in Atlanta. You feel me?
Yeah, that is definitely the goal.
It is the goal. Like I'm trying to be a household name. What you talking about?
Absolutely, and we definitely want people to advertise on the program. So we're going to be talking about that more in the weeks to come. But I'm definitely excited to have y'all back and doing y'all thing. And y'all seem well rested and ready to get things moving.
I don't know about the well rested part. I'm definitely ready to get things moving, but I'm definitely not. I probably haven't.
I'm rested.
I haven't had no rest.
Okay.
Since the pandemic started. You know why I haven't had no rest though? For real, my dreams and my mind is just keeping me up. Like you know what I mean? Like
I've been saying you get busy though. I've been seeing you making some moves.
Diamond K, I'm making some power moves, brother. I'm only showing a third of what I'm doing. Like I'm not even. I'm waiting for a few more things to come up. And then we'll have a whole different conversation. You did what I mean? Like,
very good.
No, because it's all about, you know what, Diamond K, everything I do is really to inspire and empower others. It's never for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a benefit just by others benefiting around me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't a greedy thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't desire money. I desire power. Because power, you can have influence. Power, you can have influence, and that's what I want to have. If you have power and you have influence, the money's going to be there because you done influence and you can maneuver what you need to do. Leadership is about organizing people and money. That's all politics is about, organizing people and money. That's it. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, great show. You know what I mean? You know, I'm glad the fans are back. You know what I mean? You know, we only getting better. You know what I mean? Tasha, thank you, Tasha.
He giving a whole shout out.
You know, I want to give Tasha a shout out because I miss Tasha. That's my baby. You know what I mean?
Oh Lord,
that's my sister, baby. Like my sister, baby. Like that. Like you know,
I'll never hear him call me no sister.
Tasha, I look at Tasha like a little sister. You know what I mean?
Oh, Tasha, we miss you too.
Little sister. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right. So Diamond, you gotta give us cues when you like. All right, wrap it up. But I'm looking at the time. And I do want to say that we're coming to an end.
The show is an hour, Angie. It's 50
minutes. I'm looking at time. You don't want to talk.
So would you like to restore the
I want to. I'm not saying Diamond K. Brother Nance, I do want to say thank you everyone for tuning in. This is our first show back, relaunching, reintroducing ourselves. It is very just encouraging to know those that are really trying to be engaged and want to be a guest on the show. So we're going to be here Mellow Mondays every Mellow Mondays every Monday at 7 p.m. on a Radio on 5 broadcast with Brother Nance and myself, Angie Winder. Thank you so.
Hood fried chicken.
Some things never change.
Some things never change.
Facebook and YouTube. But go ahead.
And then also, if people miss any episodes, they can always go to radioonfire.com and click RTV Radio Show and catch up on episodes as well.
I like it here.
The only brother. Diamond K, one of the only brothers I know who age and his hair get longer.
Yeah, I'm letting my hair grow.
Okay, yeah. We are at our time.
Hey, Diamond K, did you see my video when I was growing up?
Talk to him later.
Yeah,
I did. You saw my video?
I did, yeah.
I said, yo, keep brushing my hair, yo. It made me feel good. My self-care. You feel me? Peace and power, y'all. We love y'all. Thank you for having us back, Diamond K. You know you the man. We love you, man. Radio on fire.
Absolutely.
Peace and power, family. Restoring the Village Radio. You already know.
All right. Thank you, guys. See y'all next Monday.
Peace and power, y'all. Love you.